The internet is broken. Business models and site design are entirely geared toward advertising and not the reader. On today's internet, advertisements are distracting, invasive, and overwhelming. In Den, the primary objective is quality content. Instead of ads, you may occasionally see a boosted post where a user has risked value to increase its visibility. Just like any other post, you can upvote or downvote to help evaluate the relevance to your community. The more engagement a boosted post gets, the less the booster pays. Depending on the evaluation process, a booster can get up to 85% of their money back, if the post is well targeted and engaging. In Den, quality content is the primary objective.
Good afternoon, Denizens. Welcome to the January 6th edition of the Den Gov Call. Distant, and I've got Joe Dragon with me, and we're going to talk about governance and Den. How you doing, Joe?
I'm all right. It's good. It's the beginning of the year. This week's been crazy. So,
yeah, it has been. I think almost every conversation I've been in over the last week has somebody's been like, "Man, this week, what's going on with this week?"
Yeah. A lot.
So yeah, what is going on this week? I figured we could go over the new Lair proposals today. The proposal phase is open, where you can go in if you have a topic or a community that you wanted to bring on Den or start up on Den, and there's not something already in the LCP, the contest that we run every month, then you can propose your own in the LCP Lair.
Right. And I would actually make sure everybody knows that this is probably what I would consider the first governance component that came into Den, where we had this known issue that, okay, we only have so many people, we want an organic growth, and how do we pick these? How do we build these communities effectively? And we wanted to put it all to the users to help propose, and then decide which ones to be made. And so we laid it out like this, and there have been some variables in there, but I think it's amazing. I think it really works. Some people, get annoyed that they can't make it. There are plenty of ways to make your own layer if you don't like the LCP process. So
yeah, I've thought about that. I like it. In the end, it's a matter of trying to find a way that's objectively fair to everybody, but also meets the goals. That's important. There's like a specific thing that Den is, and some people do want it to be something else, which is fine, but well, I won't get into that.
That happens. It's all right.
But yeah, the LCP system is pretty cool. It's getting better too. We're adding things in that make it a little bit easier and a little bit more accessible, and actually does address some of the negative feedback that we've gotten on it. So
right.
Like, I'm sure we haven't hit all the requests, but you guys have been hitting mostly all of them whenever whenever problems arise.
Right. It's an interesting way to look at building a system, for one, but I do want to bring up something also, is like verbally to propose an idea. Not that we want to do this, but when we're done, after we look through these, I want to see what everybody thinks about one other thing we could add that would be relatively simple to do. So, let's look at the newest proposals. Is that where you're going to start?
We'll see what we get into, because I had a couple of things that I was thinking about. I was walking my dog and thinking about Den, as I do, and a couple of things came up there. But yeah, let's review what's up, because I want to highlight everyone that's created a proposal. I noticed there were 2 countries that have proposals in. The first one is India here, proposed by VKB, who's been pretty active recently.
And I think we have a decent number. Oh, really? Did he? Okay, because I haven't seen this week. I've not seen this week yet.
Oh, okay. So, it was another entirely too long episode, but it was fun. It was good.
I'll tell you, the last ones that I've watched, I watched at a higher rate, and they were both great. Tons of really good content. You got into very good issues as to with descriptions on why things are, or how better, how to how to use the system more efficiently, that type of thing. So really
Thank
cool.
you. Yeah, I was kind of just stumbling through figuring out what I could do with it at first, but I think that it's got a pretty good flow now, especially now that, I've got Gravity Crab and T-Swift for Life are basically recurring hosts at this point, and I think will continue to be. So that's
awesome.
cool, and anybody who wants to hop on with that, you're welcome to do so. And actually, you know what? That in mind, before we get into this, I want to remind a reminder real quick that you can join this Den Gov call as well. If you have something that you want to bring up. I should have brought that up at the very beginning, but there is a link on the agenda that if you click on it, you'll come into a little lobby and we'll see you pop in. Maybe give us a message in private chat. Let us know what you want to talk about and we'll bring you on. We'll talk about it.
Yes.
So
and there's no 7-second delay. That's the only thing we have to warn everybody about.
I'm sorry. What? Oh yeah.
Can't
be.
But
so cool. Okay. Good formatting. Looks like there's enough information to understand what the proposer is trying to propose. There is proposing.
Yep. I will say generally across all the proposals, I've been impressed that everybody's getting like they're catching all the fields. I think maybe I might not see a couple that get fixed after the fact, but I've been impressed with the amount of definition in there, right? So
because they very much weren't in the beginning,
right? In the very, very beginning, it was we didn't have a set standard either, but it was
and in the middle
loose,
and then recently it's been great.
Yeah.
So thank you for
really working
that, VKB.
Yeah.
So check out India. Check out Mark Clements, passive income ideas, PII. Interesting. I think of PII as personally identifiable information.
Yeah.
So passive income ideas. Let's see here. That's interesting. What if somebody wants a PII layer one day for personally identifiable? What if MiFi wants a layer?
Is there already a privacy layer, right?
There is. There's a privacy layer.
Yeah. So
this layer should be used for sharing ideas about passive income opportunities. Cool. Hit all the wickets. Yep.
It's a big thing in this world.
So I like it. Yeah. Argue for your layer. Point out why you think people should vote for you, basically, is what you're doing, right? Because when people are committing lore, they're looking at the layers, looking at descriptions, and they're thinking about, okay, one, is this, do I feel like this is going to go over well on Den? Like two, am I going to want to participate in this? Is this something that aligns with what I would want? 3, 4, 5, and 10 different reasons. I'm not going to name them all. But yeah, I imagine people are looking at it when they vote. Australia from Unanimous. Unanimous. I can't talk.
Unanimous.
Yeah. Oh, they got a cute little mouse right there. So Australia. Quality posts and questions about Australia. We've got some people from Australia. This one will probably get some attention.
Yeah.
And I wonder what kind of plans are here. Let's see.
Perth. So Anonymous is in Perth.
To this layer, Den in general, utilizing existing networks, whereas anticipated word of mouth would organically grow. That's what I like to see is the plan section. Is like, cool. I want this layer too, but what would you do with it?
Kind of right. And it is a big deal to know how you are going to promote people engaging, because it's one thing to get people to put lore in, but it's another thing entirely to get them to come in and reply and vote and post, and to engage.
I like this as well at the end, the general info. And this is the first time I'm reading this. I haven't seen it at all until just now. I think this is is a good way. Like, this is basically pointing out a problem that this layer could solve for this person and people that are, would be related to this. So That's cool. It makes a good argument.
Yep. And with it, I will say one thing that across the board, that when you normally, if this were Reddit and we had this, we're going to set up subreddits, that'd be one thing. And the vision and the purpose is all good, but it's another thing. And I don't know precisely why, and hopefully we can maintain this forever, but the culture on Den and I don't know if it's because of some of the people we attract. Yes, there is an occasional drama, but it's typically a drama about the algorithm or about changes or something else, which is probably welcome.
It's a living platform. It's evolving.
Yeah, but for whatever reason, I don't witness the toxic drama that I see everywhere. I mean, literally everywhere else. I mean, you're talking Facebook, you're talking Reddit, you're talking Telegram. It's
I wonder if that is because of the word of mouth. The only, like, when people talk about Den, I see people writing about, like, come to Den. It's where, like, people can communicate like adults and not just be at each other's throats. Come to Den, where everybody can get along, even if they don't get along, that kind of thing.
Yeah. And we've even had people that had some drama in the beginning that are now they get why we've done things the way we are. And now they're just, I was like, oh, I get it. And they're just, plowing forth. It's amazing. So,
but I'm just wondering if, like, that's why it attracts that kind of person. If that's how people hear about it, then the people interested in that are who shows up.
Yeah,
which is great. I can't think of a better way to bootstrap a platform like this than with a bunch of early adopters who are here because they want something good that they can discuss topics on that are important to them without all of the crap that comes with it everywhere else on the internet.
Right.
So that's probably the best foundation we could have. So that's great.
I agree. Cool.
I didn't want to miss this one. This is a Lair proposal. It popped up under the other post and I almost missed it, but upcoming crypto projects. I think this could be cool too, just to see what's coming down the pipeline, what people are working on.
I would like this because simply, even if I wasn't involved in it, I would be watching it because this is doing what I do day in, day out. This is the one thing that I miss about crypto, that I don't have the time to look into the new projects coming up and just, get new ideas and figure out how, what this could mean for the future. That was always the amazing thing. I would be in these groups and something would come up out of nowhere. I'm like, oh, that is brilliant. I mean, I don't know if it'll work, but it's
I know what you're talking about. Like like just joining Telegram sometimes and keeping up day to day and just having the time to, like, I used to drive and I would, on stops, filling up gas, I'm checking chat, just like passing the time, and I would stay engaged in all these communities while I was driving for work. And that's where I would find out about so much. Like, that's how I found out about Uniswap. Was like from Divi community. Somebody was talking about Uniswap, and then I was like, you mean there's a Telegram channel that lists all the new tokens that come out and you can just buy some and then sell it whenever it goes up a little bit and make some money? And that's really how it was at the moment, back in that, like, when DeFi did all the food coins and stuff.
That's how I wouldn't have been in half of the projects that I got into. I wouldn't have been in without that exact same model. That somebody brings something up and they'd have some passion, and if it was in, there were a lot of them that I wasn't interested in at all, just because what they were about I didn't understand or it wasn't my thing. But there were so many of them.
But what's interesting about doing it on a layer is that that's always been a fire hose of information, and so doing it with this evaluation system is almost like outsourcing, like doing that digging and that kind of thing. And with the tipping system, you could cultivate a really good community and, like, tradition of tipping out for good research and that kind of thing. And the more that happens, the more people will come in and offer up their personal research, because that is valuable. The sooner you know something, the more valuable it is.
It's huge. And the other thing that will be interesting about it, because I've not had time to get on a call with this person. I won't say who it is. I think it was public on Twitter that we even first discussed it. No, it was on Den. It was in Den, talking about alpha and NFTs and how, because my thought, look, this is on chain. So theoretically, you could bring in a project and say, look, here is what it's about. Here's the research. I'm going to get tips. I'm going to get energy just for bringing that in. But if you really wanted to tune it, you could objectively say, look, this project really did take off. They really did deliver. They did well, and our community benefited. Therefore, you get some ownership or something else. Something like that could be crazy because it's provable that I brought this there before anybody else, whatever, and that would be the goal. I have to bring the good stuff to this community first, because that's where I will be rewarded, right?
That sounds like another project that I'm thinking about, but that's doing a really good job at that.
All right.
All right. So this is the last one that's proposed for now, isn't it? Or is it?
Happy birthday.
Oh, I didn't see that one.
Oh, notice another one blew up. Okay. Celebrating your birthdays. Now, we don't have any way to disclose your birthday right now. Later, if we do factor plugin, you would be able to prove this really was your birthday. I don't know. We could potentially expose something like your like on Reddit where they do your account
Cake day kind of thing.
Cake day thing.
Like when joined.
I mean, I don't know. This could be interesting. It would be one of those light, fluffy layers. That it depends on how many users you have.
Similar to Awe a little bit as far as that. I can see that.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh yeah, mine. I forgot about mine.
And yours. Yes.
I covered mine a little bit on coffee. I won't spend too much time on it here, but yeah, there's a Linux proposal up.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I just thought it would be funny to spell out the word / to emphasize it because people, of the old joke.
And the fact that you have GNU Linux is not just Linux. And
so I put a lot of unnecessary information in here, but I tried to really give in the proposal, I tried to give a whole bunch of ideas to people to try to get them excited about like, oh man, I want to go do that. Actually, that's a great idea.
Here's the question, and as to how it overlaps, that you have poems about how Linux is the Lord's operating system, which is brilliant, and I would actively vote those up like crazy. But my question is, would those poems be written in Perl? Or
what? how orthodox are we getting here?
Yes, so it would be a prayer written in Perl that generates itself. That would be the goal.
I have to
have those strange contests.
I have to access the layer via Emacs to make it count.
Yeah, we have the Emacs versus Vim key bindings, right? Sorry,
I've gone full nano on everything. I love nano at this point.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
I have.
Wow.
And maybe it's because I don't do as much anymore. That could very well be it because I don't do as much as more.
I don't
on the keyboard like in terminal and stuff.
In nano and what are the other ones? There's there were a whole bunch of other. I can't remember all of them. I used to know all of them, but I could never remember the exit bindings and all that crap.
That did trip me up a lot.
I would always do Vim because I just got used to it because I was always working on remote servers, so it was very Vim and Screen, right? But then
Screen was
never
like
got
the
into
first trick
Emacs.
I had to learn that I was tripping me up.
Wanted to get into Emacs, but I never did. Right? It was just too
I didn't either.
Crazy for me.
I
had
feel
friends
like
that did.
I'm probably too young to have like needed Emacs.
Some of my guys were way younger than I was, and they were Emacs guys. I'm like, okay.
I've heard that if once you learn it and then once you customize it, specifically once you customize it,
that's always the thing.
That nothing can touch it. Nothing even today modern can touch it.
Same as Screen. When you first start Screen, it's horrible, but once you get to know it, it's amazing. Mm-hmm. But Vim, for whatever reason, mostly, in my opinion, mostly for their like substitution, regular expression stuff, and all that, and was very powerful. When mostly I was working with config files, right? I wasn't typically coding, right? So anyway, that's a lot of geek conversation there, but
but that's the kind of conversation you might expect to find in the Linux layer, for example, stuff like that. So if you were into any of that, vote for the Linux layer.
And I have a sticker on the back of one of these monitors. I don't know which one that I bought from RMS at a talk he gave. So I got to meet him. I never got to meet Torvalds.
So he touched it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I have a shirt that I bought from him too. Like it was when they just put out a GNU version. Geez, what is it? The 3? GPL 3? Is that right?
Is it?
So
must be. That's the
Yeah. Anyway,
I tried to throw in a whole bunch. I tried to throw in like a variety of different stuff too to cover a lot of bases on the images. As much as I could.
Perfect. It's perfect. I'm going to vote for this layer. I'm waiting to put some lore in. It will be awesome. I was
going to say that this layer, I don't know with Nguma's create your own layer. It looks like a Turtles All the Way Down situation where it's like meta layers, and you can.
I would say, just like we had said, we kind of self-limited early on a couple because we didn't have tagging, so we didn't want not safe for work stuff yet and all that. I would say on those more dynamic layers, because I have a bunch of ideas, and I think you do too, for things like top content layers and things that you could subscribe to this and get.
Yeah, I think a meta layer would be great, to where you have like the top, even the top one from every layer.
Now,
is, dynamically mapped to the
there is a question whether Den itself should do that, where it would be
because that's just a trimming layer at that point, right?
Maybe sell the lot so people can still partake in that, but it's an interesting thing because it would, is there any content that layer would actually take? Because it would be pulling content we would need cross post probably implemented, and it would automatically cross post to the top content unless it already was. So people could, I guess, effectively throw in content into it, but then it would only show the top. I don't know. There's some things you'd have to think about, but the big picture is that, the vision and what we're going to be able to do is where we would have an interface into all aspects of the layer, so that effectively here's the reputation system that comes out of the box, but you can expand it. So if you want to plug in something, so let's say somebody wants to monetize adding a couple of extra types of reputation or a couple of other capabilities to your layer, you can plug it in. The other would be things like the rewards system. Like, say you're still going to get Matter rewards, working here, but maybe your layer says, look, we're going to take your Matter rewards. We're getting that, but you're going to get this other token. They could do that. So you could effectively intercept that, and everybody subscribing or posting would know this layer has its own rules, and you're maybe in a slightly different economy, but that way it's totally flexible. They could plug it into other, other projects.
Yeah, it would be interesting to have. I can imagine having a bunch of different, like microcosms almost, where the Den platform and even the Matter token acts as a transport layer between them,
right?
As far as economically, to where you have liquid between completely different tokens, that kind of thing. I could see that being built out and working interestingly in Den, and that would be cool. Well, it'd be cool, period, because it would be cool to build it. But more than that, it would be cool to have different projects using them to where they have their own tokens in their little sub layer.
And things like what we do with the roundtable, you could effectively automate all of the lot minting and distribution every week, right? Based upon whatever you can measure on chain.
That'll come like when we do smart contracts and stuff. That'll probably be one of the first things we hit, right? Because there's an opportunity to just prove that system, proof of concept kind of thing with the world blockchain.
Right. So
I think
really good stuff.
Once we have the ability to filter by tags one of these days, that a lot of what Nguma was imagining will probably end up naturally happening in every layer, where people are just going to filter by the type of content, the specific type of content that they want to see, or the type of music. I like to use music just because it's easy to understand. Maybe some people don't like country, so they filter it out. And now your specific personal layer of the music layer is now different than what everybody else is experiencing, because you've got your own filters on.
That's what it's going to be. We just have to figure out the interface and a couple other pieces and get it prioritized, which governance will help. I want that now, right? Can we go ahead and show what's already up? So those are the new proposals. But there is some level of what's the position on the LCP in the LCP itself, right?
Let's do that. Let's go and see what's in here.
Because I don't even know where
we can see what's coming.
Review. And by the way, you have until, I guess, through the weekend. I think it closes out Monday morning. We asked the judges the LC. Yes, Monday morning. The proposal phase is complete.
Because I've been saying Monday was the last day. Tuesday morning. Okay, so I was right. So Monday is the last day that you can. Okay.
No, it is Monday morning because they need time to move. It surprised me that one week because I was like, I knew somebody who wanted to get one in, and I had told them Tuesday, but it was really Monday because we have to transfer all of the proposals into the LCP system.
Yes. Yep.
So right now that's not automated because So
that's the idea of getting into the habit of doing it with certain fields too, because at some point there will be certain fields, and that's how they automatically get at this
they get pulled straight over,
pulled in there.
Yep. Okay.
Do it manually and then automate it later.
So based upon
Love it.
lore, we have current situation being topped with 1.8 million. Airdrops is much the same as that new crypto projects. Airdrops could be really interesting because that's another thing that I've never had time to pay attention to. When airdrops came out, I was already busy working on Dragonchain inside of Disney. I didn't have time to even contribute to the stupid me into the Ethereum opening. Right? I was like, that's a great project. He came, it's Vitalik and all the stuff that was going on. It's like I should have.
I thought it was a clever way to advertise.
I have construction going on. If you hear noise,
oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah, I thought it was a clever way to advertise when airdrops were going around, so you could see like tokens that somebody made and that kind of thing. Less useful today, but then it was.
Yep. Den's got talent.
By the way, this is the theme of next week's Coffee with Den. Is we're going to highlight between now and then, we're going to start bookmarking in people's OC that we think is interesting and highlight people's work on the show. So. If you have really something valuable that you want us to highlight, go throw it in the Den Lair. You'll see episode 12 posted, and then leave me a question or a topic or some of your work or some of your performances so that we can talk about it on the show. So
it might be where, I mean, I don't know how much if you did that at all this past week or how much time you'll put on that, but that could be really interesting because it would be a huge variety. Who knows what post it'll be, right? So anyway,
we'll see how it goes, and then that's kind of how I do things. I dip my toe into an idea, do some amount of work with it to see kind of how it feels, get a temperature check, and then run with the ones that show the most promise, I guess.
So then you have collectibles, which that's good. Japan, so another country,
cool,
right? A lot you can put it in there in content for Japan. Mining, I would be really interested in as well. I mean, is technical, but the fact that it's another piece. I, since earliest Bitcoin days, have not mined. Right, I did some level of mining up through.
I was really late getting involved,
but then after that, I was like, I haven't done it. I'm like, I would like to know more.
Yeah, I didn't get involved until super late because whenever I was first reading about Bitcoin, I was in the Navy and I was floating around in off the coast of Mogadishu. We were doing like piracy ops, boarding vessels, fun shit like that. And we had barely any internet connection, but I was able to read stuff. There's no way I was going to get into mining on the ship when I was on, on deployment, active duty.
Man, with all that nuclear power available too, like
And then no, we were conventional. We were. I wasn't on an aircraft carrier, thankfully. I wouldn't have done well with that. But I was going to say, and then when I got home, I was home from deployment. I wasn't getting into mining. I just got home from a deployment, so I never really got into it until later after the Navy. So I guess I would have been 2013, 2014 mining, 14 probably by the time I got around to that. But I've been off and on since then. So it's been fun. I would love that layer too.
That's awesome.
Speaking of their own
wrestling. Is that like WWE or what was WWF? Is that what that is?
No idea. Generally? I know that I have an aunt who was really into wrestling. Got a couple of friends that are into it. I've never followed it too closely except to appreciate some of the theater involved.
I did as a kid because it was fun. Like my great grandma loved it, and she would. There was no discussing that it was not real, and she was awesome, right? But so my cousin and I would watch it, and I just got into watching it because sometimes it was.
You know what's great though is the pro wrestling video games, the nice 3D pro wrestling video games. Those are actually fun.
Really?
If you ever liked any of the fighting, like Mortal Kombat and stuff like that.
That's cool. That would be cool.
Yeah,
I think
this is actually meaning all different types of wrestling, whether it's
even Greco-Roman. Like
the
Greco-Roman and all the
right, all of it
stuff.
All of it.
Wow, cool.
No, wrestling entertainment, I think, is a specific genre.
Yeah. Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, so we'll see. It's a pretty big jump up to the next one, to current situation.
There will be some movement, I'm sure. There will be a lot of things.
We'll see what happens there. We'll see how it stacks up. By unique voters, some of the same ones, actually the same ones. Yep.
So here's my idea. this is what I wanted you to remind me about, because I remember myself, which I'm proud of. Right now, we just introduced 2 months ago, and it's been taken up the past 2 months, the runners up options, right? Where you can spend 200, 400, 600,
Oh
800,
yeah.
or 1,000 matter on those 5 runners up to have them created, which is an interesting angle because if you look at like Garden and Flowers, there's only 672,000, which is
Yes. Yep.
refreshing, right? And the fact that it isn't that last bit where everybody's clamoring for the one that everybody knows is going to win, and therefore it's almost like a horse race mentality. You know, I'll put my money in there or my lure in there, and I'll get my lot, and I'm happy, right? The fact that opens up the fact that everybody has to now think about, okay, anything that's in the top 5, because
Could get created.
if I want some, I'm going to have to put some lore in there.
Right, because like I put in 100K on that, and this is all farmed lore from Den,
Mhm.
and you know I got 15% of that.
Yeah,
So
it's
you
really,
know,
really
not
amazing.
putting it through another round just means that your share doesn't get diluted anymore. And
Right.
I actually personally paid for that to get done.
Yeah, which surprised me.
know,
I didn't know you were going to do that. It's like, oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I saw, you know, I saw a need for it, and we have a garden, and I built a computer in the garden to give me an excuse to post in both the
That's awesome.
cryptocurrency
Really?
and the
That's
a
awesome.
mining
I will,
rig.
and I will tell you, a lot of them. This is one of them. A lot of them I've thought about in terms of, okay, the ease with which someone out there can produce quality content that is visual, appealing. You know, is in this case, it's you're gonna have some stuff that's gonna be.
It's also going to be really pretty
vegetable.
photos too sometimes.
Yeah,
Just
you
really
but
good stuff.
and this you'll have some vegetable related stuff on how to grow carrots better or something. But you have a lot of flowers. It'll be really pretty, so it'll be cool. So those types, I'm like, oh, especially early, it's good to have content that people can easily create that is high quality, right? So that's one of them. So my idea and my question, this is a verbal. I'm not going to necessarily propose it, but it could
It's
turn
a temperature
into this.
check.
Yeah, it would be a site wide,
Have like
and we
not a
yes.
proposal, but a temperature check.
Yeah, and
just
it
to
might
get
be
everyone's
something we throw into a
feeling on it.
discussion post in DenGov, but it would be something that we maybe would wait for site-wide governance before we formally request a vote on it. But what if we had no runners-up limit, that the first 5 were at those levels, but maybe everything after the 5 would be at either 2,000 or 2,500 lot, which
Plateau
is a
out.
decent amount of value. But that way, you'd
Interesting.
have to think about even the ones at the very bottom of the list and think, do I want, because someone could come in and throw 2,500 lore into one of them with the intent to, and maybe they own 80% of it, and now they're going to throw in their reasonable amount of matter to get it created. It's an interesting angle.
Well,
and
here's what I'm thinking is
tune-
that it'll definitely, so it'll enable one thing that I thought wasn't going to ever be possible again, which is an LCP layer with like only a few owners.
Right.
I was kind of had just assumed that was going to be like a thing of the past.
With low lots, like say we have a few that are here, like memes. I think politics. They're ones that I'm actively involved in that came from the very first LCP cycles where
the energy
we
ones,
used
right?
energy. We used energy because we didn't have lore yet. So we used energy to create the lot, and the lore. Everything was proper and to the spec. It's the same type of lot, but when we created it, we had to do it that way. And so there were like 4,000 lot or something on some of those layers. So it's a very small amount. And that's the thing that's not there right now. Everything's in the millions. And
well, the same thing. Like
anyway.
that's what I'm saying. It would enable that too. There's a chance now, where right now there's basically no chance that's going to happen. Right. Theoretically, maybe, but no.
Right.
But that would enable like any of these 100 and however many. There's just so many. You now can no longer just write them off. Right. As non-competition.
And in my opinion, I think that would increase the effectiveness of feedback on the value of all of them. Instead of it just focusing on the ones that have gotten that high, you're going to get a lot more signal across all of them, because people
And
are
the
going to say,
idea
you know
would
what?
give a reason for someone to look at them. Give
Right.
everyone a reason
Let's
to go look at them.
yeah, let's say I like paranormal, right? There's one lore applied to it, and if I have any interest in paranormal, I'm going to say, you know what? I have to put my lore there now, because that one person could just turn it on, right? And I would not.
That's true.
There's only one lot,
and it's a one of one. Wow,
Yeah.
Interesting. And then that one of one, that would be a one of one NFT that would be the entire mining subsidy or whatever of that layer.
Yeah.
Which is, that's the kind of thing that somebody might actually spend 2,500 matter on, because that's an interesting prospect.
Yes. Crazy stuff. So
anyway,
all right.
I had something else that reminded me of, but I forget. So
here's a question. Here's a question for the judges, and I'll look in private chat, so you won't have to play charades. But when do we have to decide if we want to go the 2-in-1 on the LCP commit? Do we have to do it before the commit post, or do we have to do it already? Can we? And do we have to go back to DenGov to say, hey, let's do 2-in-1? Because we were talking the past couple of weeks about doing one new layer on the lore commit side and 2 new layers on the unique voter side, because right now they're consolidating too much. So we're getting one a month. Whereas if we were at least to have another one created on the unique voter side, it would be helpful. And I don't know what our, do we need to go to DenGov vote on that?
Yeah, it looks like we do.
Okay, so let's put in a vote for next month then to do that.
Okay,
and then in the meantime, let's also put in a vote for, and that's the best way to do it. For next month, let's put in a vote on whether we want to do a separate vote. Even though I just said maybe we should wait for site-wide, let's go ahead and put one in on whether we want to allow unlimited runners up, right? But we have the pricing structure out, which figure out. But
so. Here's a question. There aren't as many, if you look at the total Gov 2021
that's right.
voting NFTs.
That's right.
The number of those have reduced because of the unlocking.
The unlocking
happens. I mean, which is fine. That's fine. There are still some around who can vote. So we can still use that method because we said, last time that we could. So
yeah, it's still there. So.
Yeah. So as long as that's still, I'm pretty sure I've still got almost all of mine, but I may have moved them. Yeah. I think it'll work. I think we can do it. Yeah.
So we'll talk about it. Frankly, I guess anybody who has that access could already put a proposal up, but to vote. But either way,
I'll double check. I'm pretty sure that's going to be fine, and we can do it before the site wide. That was the only caveat I could think of.
Yeah, and Den has a vote still, so they have the 1/3 vote. So
there's at least there's at least someone to vote.
Yeah. So
cool.
Anyway,
yep, I think it's a good idea too.
Okay, and then when we turn on site wide, then anybody could propose then to change that, so it'd be good. Okay, what's next? Sorry about that.
I wanted to run through. We've got some more proposals. I just wanted to say, if you have lot in any of these that check your governance. So there's some proposals in it looks like gaming passed. Elon Musk outdoors.
Those just passed.
Yeah, I just saw that. It just happened. Yeah.
Yeah. At 12.
So somebody voted
a few minutes ago. So the Halo tag, Warzone tag, and
yep. So where are we here? Turn on video. So Elon Musk.
Yes.
I'm going to vote. Yep. Turn on video.
Who voted on that so far?
Oh.
Or you can look after.
Oh, you have to look after. Okay.
Oop. You can. Oh yeah. You can click on the drop down over there.
Oh, there we go. Cool.
By the way, we know we need to adjust some of the interface because some people didn't know to click on the gray bar that doesn't.
Totally.
So
on the left, when you go in, these paddles are what you click on to vote. So if I wanted to, oops, why did I do that? Do not commit.
Yeah.
There we go.
It's good.
So thanks for voting, Foost and Eternal Mickey. All right, what else? Outdoors has some changes from Bit by the Coin. Turn on reputation to add video. Okay, approve.
I need to vote on that one
All right.
also.
So Outdoors Lair, if you've got some of that, vote whichever way you would
I
like.
don't
to
have
vote on
enough
that.
of it, but I just gave some away too.
By our powers combined, we will have enough.
Yes.
All right. Let's see. Outdoors. Add a hiking tag to the Outdoors Lair. Sounds great. So we need some more votes on that as well. What else is in here?
Oh,
Gaming approved. What did they just approve? They created a Halo tag. They created a Warzone tag. Okay. I was thinking we would go with. That's fine. Snooze, you lose. Let's see. Creature comforts. I don't think I have any of that layer, do I? Yeah, let's get more tags in there. No, I can't vote. Okay. I can't vote on that one. And then is there anything else that hasn't been approved? Nope, that's it. So that's what stands right now. So go vote on those if you have layers ownership.
also, let's see here. We do have an active in DinGov 2021. We do have an active vote
yes, I just forgot about
on the layer governance window. Right now, across the board, it's 2 weeks. So if you don't if you don't come to a majority vote, which will resolve it in 2 weeks, then it resolves based upon the and we've talked about making it adjustable by the layer itself, so the layer could change that to 3 days if they wanted. But that right now it's 2 weeks across the board. We put in a vote to change it to 1 week because it's, some things should be moving faster than they are. But I don't know how many people voted on it. I believe that I voted on it, if I remember correctly. Yes. No. Yes.
Okay.
You
so we've got votes from me,
I
votes
did.
from you. Is there?
And my gift. I have one of the best gifts ever.
I love that. You got to put his little. You got to get in the car, so you got to put it down like a hood ornament on the car.
That's by design. That's pretty interesting.
Yeah, I never realized that was like a feature. Hey, the more you know. All right, so that's so far looks like it's passing. If you have any Den-wide Gov lot for 2021, you can still vote on this, even though it's 2022. We did pass a rule before the end of last year saying that procedure will bridge the gap until the new Den-wide governance comes in. So go vote on that if you still want to vote on it. Otherwise, is it still open voting on this? By
what was the date?
Tomorrow, right here.
Tomorrow.
By 3 p.m. Eastern. Yeah. So last call for votes on going down to 1 week instead of 2 for timeout on layer governance decisions.
Yes.
Thanks for reminding me of that. I would have forgotten. And I think that covers it.
Yes. Is that the whole works? Is that everything?
I think that covers what we needed to make sure we talked about this week for sure. Okay. So now it's kind of here we go. Let me make sure. Agenda, go vote if you have a lot. Contest. Oh yeah. And we're going over the white paper and finalizing that.
Yes.
And so
there'll be updates.
We've taken that is something I wanted to quickly talk about, is that basically like 2021 has been amazingly insightful for me. And so if that's true, it must have been exponentially more for you and the rest of the team, Joe. It's been interesting.
Yeah,
and
we learned a lot.
A lot of that is that feedback is I've seen it put into place. Like I'll see here's something that I've heard other people tell me too that impresses me, is that there will be discussion and feedback about features that don't exist, and then like in a couple of months it just shows up. It's like, oh, that's that thing that somebody talked about that one time. There wasn't even like a proposal to like, oh, we should implement this. It was just that it got hashed out, and it's like, you know what, that's a good idea. Let's throw it in as part of this update. And I see things that I just see things being worked on in a thoughtful way by people that aren't on camera. And I wanted to put out a thank you out to them as well. I'm up here being Mr. Den and all that stuff, but like really the devs are great, so don't forget that there's a team of people working under the hood as well.
They're amazing. They've gotten more done than I would have ever expected, and we've gotten over huge hurdles that appeared And we've solved our way around them in very clean, I guess, objective, philosophical ways.
Maybe that's what impresses me the most, really, and when I'm thinking about it, is that there aren't things that are put in just because, oh well, that's what every other site has, or that's
Yeah.
what the like expectation is. So let's make that feature.
Yeah.
It's everything that's done is, I see the logic behind it, and it's, oh, okay, clever. I can see where that's going to lead to. I can see down the road that's going to be, that's going to enable something later that's going to be very freaking interesting. And right now it might be something as simple as a tip feature where you have a little message, but that may, evolve into merchant invoices. Starts out as tips and then ends up as something completely robust.
Yeah, and I will say a couple of things for anybody out there. If you see it, and anybody watching is probably going to already be, preaching to the choir probably, but do have patience with us and be. I don't know how to describe it, but a lot of what we're doing is counterintuitive, which makes it harder to do exponentially, because it isn't like say, oh, I saw it on Instagram, of course we want that. It's not like that. It's always this thing that is like, oh, here's something you might not understand at first glance, but here's why we're doing it. And it sometimes takes a little more thought, and the goal in the end is not to create this complexity. Every software system is complex. You look at Facebook behind the scenes, it is radically complex. But I guess the point is that what we want to do is to take all of those things that are broken in social media, or whatever you would compare Den to, and to fix it in a way that those things they can be glossed over. That you don't have to know anything about that, yet somehow this just works. And you're like, well, why is everyone polite? And why is, it's like, well, there are very specific reasons for it that are, based upon, why we're doing what we're doing. And
I think it's because we attract the best people.
I do think so. We have some amazing people. The freaking Denizens are amazing across the board. And occasionally have someone come in who is looking for something specific, and it isn't there, and they're like, oh, they hate it. And I'm like, that's fine. They'll come back later someday, maybe. It's all cool.
The early build cycle of a project isn't for everyone, and that's fine. That's totally fine. That's why I've waited until now to launch my local stuff, because every step along the way, and I spent money to check to see if it was ready for people to locally give it a shot. And it just was like, no, it has to be like, it has to have some very specific things, or people, and so now it's there. And that's 2022 for me. It's like what I was trying to do a year ago is now it looks like it. And Greg was saying this earlier on World Blockchain. It seems like tides have shifted and things are sort of primed now in a way that they haven't been. And so that's cool. When the pump's primed and you're just ready to flip the switch, it's go time.
Yep. And I know when we first started building Den, a lot of people, even some people on the team, didn't get it. And then a lot of people in the Dragonchain community didn't get why we were doing that, and some of them openly ridiculed it. They're like, oh, it's just some silly Reddit thing that nobody's doing anything with. And I'm like, guys, this is the nature of humanity, is that frankly, you're usually burned at a stake for doing something new. But beyond that, it is that you literally have to show people something that they've never seen before. If they don't see it, it's like, oh, that works. Then and the weird thing and the negative thing about it, depending on how you take it, is a lot of times the things that work best will not get the kudos they probably deserve, because they just happen to work. So it's not like there's some revelation of I couldn't believe that this was possible, and now here it is. It is more, well, of course it's possible. I can see it working, right? And so it's frustrating as someone building something, but you have to kind of go through that. And the point is, with something as abstract as blockchain, and as abstract as blockchain being employed to help human activity be more, I don't necessarily more efficient, but more valuable. let's just say it helps us deliver better content, and it rewards people in doing so. That is abstract enough that, you know, when you bring it up, people either dismiss it, think it's stupid because they've never seen it, or they overly simplify it to think it's more like something like Steam it was, where it's just, oh, if I post this, I get some tokens, and there's nothing else behind the you know, methodology. Well, how do you evaluate it? How do you objectively know that was
you can write that in one line, if post token,
so, and that was the difficulty around a lot of what we did. The white paper helped a lot. The community
simplification,
in the end, the community was what really made this happen. We had a ton of people from the Dragonchain community and some new people that came in that helped us in those early days to kind of test out some of the base ideas. And then after that, it's all been just building and building and building. So it's good stuff.
I wanted to bring up something that I think I have it properly, my private info properly hidden. It's my session desktop, but Y'all Weird just sent me a message. It has to do with Den. It's Den related. Okay. And I don't know if it's because I don't know if OpenSea had a glitch, or if there was some like calculating error on someone's end. But check out what he said, what his Den NFTs are worth right now, according to whatever app he's using. Can you see that number there? All of a sudden, he gets up, and opens up his wallet, and it says it's worth $350 million for his Lair ownership.
So, like the coin market cap issue that was a few months back, and we had something. I will tell you, early days in 2018. Hopefully, you can hear me over the noise. Early days in 2018, because of geez, what was it? What was the decentralized exchange back then? Ether Delta. Someone thumbed in a value on Dragons, and all of us were billionaires for about 30 minutes or an hour or something, because the price was through the roof. It was crazy.
That was before my time, but I think I saw a screenshot or something from somebody when it reflected that.
There's at least one still in Telegram that I can't remember where you just search for billionaire or something like that.
Yeah.
You go way back.
That's you know, and you look at stuff like when a brand new tokens being launched or whatever, the instructions are just like, tell us what price it is. Okay, anybody can go in there and do that.
Yeah, it's funny. All right.
Yeah. Well, so quick reminders. We have World Blockchain Roundtable every Thursday. We have this meeting is every Thursday, and this is more like, I do the Coffee with Den, which is like really relaxed, talking about Den, pushing buttons, telling stories, you know, like all Den related ish, pretty loose. This is more of a like governance meeting, talk about the direction of the platform, voting on things, any issues that have come up, stuff like that maybe the community needs to know about. And then Super Happy is focused on Dragonchain, which happens on Tuesdays. So those are the shows that you should know.
Yes, that's excellent.
All right, you got anything else? Because I don't.
Nope. I have a lot to do. So.
All right. Well, once again, thanks for hanging out with us. We'll see you next week, and check out this cool song that Y'all Weird wrote. Cheers.
Thanks, Dave.
Because that goal will serve to organize and measure the best. Adaptable, all capital, label radical yet rational. A tactical approach is palpable if this animal is fallible, but that conclusion is laughable. So with for all detachable from the mandible, you see it now.